I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever had to make a decision in a split second? I'm sure you have. You know, one of those decisions that not necessarily life shattering, but definitely life changing. And I had to make such a decision when I was in Durban, South Africa. This is where the story is set. John Millin, my new manager at IBM, is introducing me to Lorna. He's saying, Janos, come and meet our receptionist, Lorna. And I go up and I shake hands with her, and she is like a model. She is dressed like a model. I'm in the first floor of IBM as Durban Bay House in Durban and on Smith Street. And the whole place is air conditioned. There is an escalator that brings people up to the first floor. There's carpets everywhere, and there's plants, and these beautiful... You've seen these posters, these inspirational posters on the wall. IBM does not skimp. It is beautiful. And I am in my brand new, off-the-peg, grey woolen worsted suit that I only bought yesterday. I don't think I've had a suit in all my life up until now. And John is in his IBM blue suit, which is the conventional suit for IBM people. And we're standing there, and I can't believe it. I have a briefcase, and I have arrived. You know, the whole building is air conditioned. I even got an underground car park position. And, you know, it doesn't matter how hot the sun is outside. We are cool as cucumbers in this building. No more getting into a hot car. And Durban is in a subtropical climate. And there's mangoes and papayas and guavas, and as frangipanis and hibiscus and you name it. It's a beautiful place with the Indian Ocean. Now, I say this, I have arrived, because it's been a bit of a journey to get here. When I got to England, I was 12, and I came as a refugee from Hungary. I didn't speak a word of English, not one word. And it was a bit of a clawing, getting up. I joined the army. I was in for 8 years. And when I left, I got into computing. And I'm only 30 at this point. And I have arrived. I'm working for the biggest computer company at that time in the world. And you know what? And I'm a systems programmer. I've just spent 4 years in Zambia as a programmer in a very smallish colonial building. And the windows are wide open. There's no air conditioning. You know, the floor is waxed and polished, and it's got a wide veranda, and there's trees outside and a few skimpy grass, red African earth. You know, they're all trying to survive. And it had its beauty. I got shorts and T-shirts, and I go to work on a little mini moke, and it had a beauty. Yes. The wonderful thing about it, of course, is that the IBM 37145, which is the mainframe, it's in an air-conditioned building not far from there, and I am systems programmer, which means I have unfettered access to this huge mainframe that's humming with power. And I love what I'm doing. Anytime I can walk into the computer room and say to the operators, "Can I have the machine for a couple of hours?" "Yeah, boss, no problem." And they would walk out. And I used those 4 years, I tell you, productively. I programmed at the lowest possible level on this machine. I was pretty good, even if I say so myself. I certainly was good enough for IBM to employ me. And I don't have a degree. I don't. And IBM only employed degreed people. So technically, I was so good. So here I am in Durban. And you know, IBM, I am now in charge of four of the largest companies in Durban who use IBM computers. And I am responsible for their software, their upgrades, customer relations, anything to do with software on their machines. And you know, this company, IBM, I am so enthralled. They actually fly you up to Joburg for courses. This is back in the 70s. This is not something, maybe North America was different in those days, but we're talking about Africa. And on Friday, they're going to fly me up to Joburg for a one-day course. Can you imagine it? I'm thinking, what? You're going to fly me up there? You give me meals and everything and fly me back again for one day. I'm feeling pretty proud. As you can see, that's why I say I have arrived. Well, Friday comes and I drive down and I park in my underground car park and catch the flight to Joburg. And it's a great course, orientation, yeah. And I fly back in the evening. And it's about 8 o'clock. I get into the car park. And of course, the car park, the underground car park, isn't air conditioned, so it's pretty hot. And I get up to 27 and look at my bay, and there's no car there. I mean, that's odd. Where's my car? 27? Or was it 37? I don't know. So I walk up to 37, and there it is, my car's there. Oh my gosh, I realize I must have parked it in the wrong bay. 37 instead of 27. Anyway, no problem. Jacket off. I get into the car. And I start backing out, but something's not right. So I get out, have a look, and my front right tire is flat on the ground. Okay, now I'm getting a little bit hot. You know, I've still got this grey suit on, so the jacket comes off. And, you know, there's the smell of the concrete dust and the oil in the car park, and now the sweat is running down my back and it's sticking to my pants, and I've got to change the wheel. But luckily, I have spent 4 years in Zambia. I know how to change a wheel, no problem. Except I can't even kneel down. I've got this smart suit on. So you can imagine, you're going to be squatting, taking the wheel, changing it, and getting home. Okay, by the time I'm home, I kind of had enough. Saturday morning, let me look at the tire. So I pump it up, and it seems to hold pressure. That's odd. And then I stand there thinking, wait a minute. This wheel, this tire was deliberately let down. I parked in the wrong bay. Whoever is in 37 let this tire down. Now I am fuming. They could have left a note. They could have done anything, but why let my tire down? Okay, all right. Thoughts of revenge come into my mind. And you might say, well, wait a minute, turn the other cheek. The regiment I was in the British Army, had a flying dagger as its emblem, and its motto was, "Who dares wins." Do I seem like the kind of guy who will turn the other cheek? No. Monday morning, I drive in, park in 27, and walk up to 37, and there's a car in the bay. This must belong to the person. So it was great satisfaction that I squat down next to his front wheel, find a matchstick, psst, and I let his tire down. Oh, all the anger dissipates. I am so happy. I go back to my desk and I get on with work. A couple of hours later, John Milling puts his head round the corner and says, "János, can I speak to you a bit?" I go into his office. Now, he doesn't say, "Go sit down." I'm standing in front of his desk. And he says, Janos, we have a customer on the 4th floor who tells me that you let his car tire down. He's a customer. He has an IBM computer installed. He picks up a bunch of keys and he says, pump his tire up and go and apologize to him. Okay, now, this, you know when they say your life flashes in front of you when you're dying and so on? I tell you, that's not the only time. It also flashes in front of you when you've got to make these decisions. And I'm thinking, wait, I can say to him, it's between that, it's a private matter between that SOB and me, It's like, come on. I thought, what will he think of that? Or I could convince him. I could tell him exactly what happened. And maybe he'll understand. But now he's a new employee who's kind of wheedling his way around that. What will he think of that? Or I could say, you know what, John, stuff your job. You know what? You don't tell me what to do. I'm just going to walk. But after all those years, like I explained, I have arrived. And I've got to think, well, what? My ego. This is an ego thing, right? What is losing face anyway? And you know what I did? I took the keys. I said, right, John. Turned on my heel and walked out of the office. It was time to eat humble pie, right? I had to pump the wheel up, the tire up. I had to go and apologize to him. I can't throw the keys on this guy's desk because I want to. I can't tell him exactly what I think of him. I've got to be genuine, right? You can't mess around here. This is my job. This is the pinnacle of my success that I've arrived at. And that's exactly what I did. I pumped up the tire. I went. I apologized to him. I looked in his eyes and I had to swallow all my anger. And you know what? When I think back, I'm actually very glad that I was able to do this, because it proved to me that really I will do anything to kind of meet my goals, to go where I want to go. Who dares wins. Thank you.